where this is being allowed, and the cities that are trying it in red states, I think, are quickly thwarted by their governor and legislature. Here to talk about it is a gentleman named Brandon Arnold. Brandon is the Executive Vice President of the National Taxpayers Union, NTU.org. Mr. Arnold, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
This is not a situation most sane Americans want to see, that their state and local elected officials are trying to stop federal law enforcement from doing their jobs. It could be only one reason of many why people are, as they say, voting with their feet and hightailing it out of these communities all over the country.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question. You look at these poorly run states like California, New York, Illinois, and they are hemorrhaging taxpayers. They're hemorrhaging people who are leaving for other states. And there are a lot of reasons why, as you allude to there. I think high on that list is the fact that California is the highest taxed state in the country. New York not far behind. Illinois trying to catch up to them for whatever reason. But there are plenty of reasons why people are leaving California. And what we did, we looked at a study. We looked at the numbers. We crunched the numbers. People are leaving California. One Californian is leaving every 1 minute and 44 seconds. That's an astonishing rate. For New York, it's just over 2 minutes. The pace is absolutely mind-blowing. And the fact is, these states are not running their states properly. They're not taxing, regulating, or providing the services that people want to see at the price that they want to see them. And it's an enormous problem.
I really do wonder, mathematically speaking, you continue to see this hemorrhaging of population. I guess the only thing you can do is continue to tax the most obscenely wealthy in the community. San Francisco, New York, Chicago, they have very, very wealthy people that live there. Is that what you do? You just keep going back to that well? Because working class people can't afford to live there. They don't feel safe living there, so they're hightailing it out.
Yeah, I mean, it just simply doesn't make sense. Their approach has been to continue to penalize the wealthiest people. In fact, California will probably have a wealth tax on their ballot come next November. They're trying to penalize people to raise the revenue that they would be gaining in all likelihood if they had more reasonable policies across the board, if they were able to have sane levels of regulation, sane levels of spending, sane levels of taxation, people would stay voluntarily. Instead, they're flirting with a wealth tax. They're flirting with things like an exit tax. Again, punitive taxes, trying to keep people within their borders. I think that carrots are a lot more effective than sticks. That is to say, if you have a climate that people want to be in, if you're providing government services at a reasonable price, that is reasonable taxes, people will stay voluntarily. People aren't leaving San Diego because they don't like the weather. They're leaving San Diego and Los Angeles because taxes are too high, because crime is too high, and because the politicians in Sacramento simply don't get it.
I was out in California a couple of months ago with our friend Jen Horn and AM 870, and we were in Anaheim for an event. I have not spent a ton of time in California. I'm not familiar with the state a lot. I mean, I've been to San Francisco before. I've been to Los Angeles briefly. Anaheim now I've seen. Beautiful places. I mean, from a distance, and great places to eat. The weather's beautiful. San Diego I've been once. Beautiful weather. Like some of the most desirable real estate on the map. But it's just so unbelievably punitive to live there. The politics are so grotesque and ugly. I don't know, unless you're a lifer there, unless you've been there a couple of generations and your heart is just beating for that place, I don't know who. It's obvious that people all over the country, particularly in the middle part of the country, they're seeing an influx of Californians, New Yorkers, cashing out, these homes that are worth gazillions of dollars and moving to very affordable places where they can build new. They can build like miniature mansions with the revenue they're gaining from their home sale in a place like California.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. That's the other side of the coin here. We're seeing these populations move to states like Texas, to Florida, to the Carolinas, and then they're moving very, very quickly. We all know that story already, but they're moving very, very quickly. Florida's picking up a new taxpayer a little over every 2 minutes. Texas, it's just about 2.5 minutes. They're picking up a new taxpayer. And guess what these states have in common? It's not just a climate-based decision. It's because their taxes are low, because their spending levels are low. This is a phenomenal statistic that we uncovered. Florida is spending half of what New York spends on a per resident basis. Half. So the spending is really the core of the problem, because if New York and California really wanted to tackle their spending, get their spending on a per capita level where Texas and Florida and North Carolina are, then guess what? They could lower their taxes and still keep their budgets balanced. But it's the spending that is driving the taxing, and then the taxing is driving people out of their states. And, the old adage used to be people are going to Florida because they're senior citizens. They want to play golf. They don't want to deal with the cold of New York or New Jersey or whatever. We're seeing young people, we're seeing businesses, we're seeing people from all types of demographic categories leave these high tax states and go to lower tax, more reasonable jurisdictions.
Brandon Arnold is with us, Executive Vice President at the National Taxpayers Union, NTU.org. Again, the states residents are leaving the fastest. You guys have studied this. California, every minute at 44 seconds, someone is bailing on California. New York comes in next at 2 minutes, 23 seconds. Illinois, 6 minutes and 4 seconds. Massachusetts then at 11 minutes, and then New Jersey rounds out the top 5 at 14 minutes. Every 14 minutes, somebody is leaving the Garden State. I hear it all the time. People talk about Chicago. They talk about New York City. They talk about the Jersey shoreline and the coast, and they love it. People love it. People have great fond memories of their childhood there, growing up there, going to school there, visiting there for vacation. It's just untenable. It's untenable. And it's heartbreaking, really, to hear people talk about, for instance, Chicago. What a great city Chicago, quote, used to be. If I heard that once, I heard it 1,000 times,
Yeah, and I love Chicago. I love New York. I love visiting California. I wouldn't want to live in any of these jurisdictions, but they are wonderful. And that's one of the reasons why they've been able to sustain some of these bad policies, because people are willing to pay a little bit more because that vibrant theater scene or music scene or being close to skiing in California or wine areas. But that only goes so far. And, I think what they have to do is get their policies right. You look at states like North Carolina, revolutionized state-based tax policy back in 2013 when they lowered tax rates. They created a structure that allowed the budget to remain under wraps while dropping tax rates, attracting businesses, attracting new residents. They've really discovered the secret sauce that's not all that secret. If you give people the benefits that they want in terms of low crime, in terms of infrastructure, don't have potholes in the road, have pretty good schools, North Carolina and Florida, both excellent school systems, and you don't charge them an arm and a leg, people are going to naturally gravitate toward those states. And we're seeing that almost across the board here. Even states like New Hampshire are picking up population, and I don't think people are moving there because of the weather. They're moving there because they can actually afford to live there, and they're not going to see punitive tax and punitive regulatory measures coming out of Concord the way that they will out of Albany.
Brandon Arnold, thanks for the analysis on this. It confirms what I think a lot of us suspected or sort of instinctively felt, but you guys have studied it. Staggering, the number of blue states hemorrhaging while the red states are picking up at great speed. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.